Okay, I've got the indicator. Looks like we are live now. Good morning, everyone. This meeting of the Akron Vacant Commercial Industrial Building Appeals Board will now come to order. Are we bringing everyone in now before I read this statement? Oh, excuse me.
Yes,
need to,
we should do that. We should do that now.
okay. And then I'll entertain a motion to suspend the rules for in-person attendance then after that.
Yes.
Okay. Is everyone in the waiting room now in? Somebody confirm that.
Yes, everyone is in.
Very good. With that, then, I would like to ask members for a motion to suspend the rules of this board requiring in-person attendance, in-person participation, and in-person voting.
I so move, Mr. Chair. Sorry.
Thank you. We have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right. We got it. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Next item we have is the approval of minutes of last meeting of April 14th. As for members, have you had a chance to review? Any comments or changes?
No, I like
Is there a motion to approve?
I make a motion to approve the motion approved April 14th meeting.
Second?
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None opposed. Minutes are approved. All right, I would like to now read a short statement before we begin the hearings. This board hears two types of cases involving particular properties. First being appeals of notices and orders to comply. The second being reports of hazardous buildings, all given from the Director of the Department of Neighborhood Assistance. Representatives of the city, owners, other people in control of property, neighbors, and any other interested parties will be recognized and given an opportunity to be heard concerning a particular property involved. Any person hearing today that intends to speak at this hearing on any particular property are now going to be sworn in. And I believe Mr. York is ready to do that.
Yes, anyone who plans to testify this morning, if you please raise your right hand. I don't need to swear in attorneys. I see we have Mr. Freeland. Your microphone is muted. You need to unmute your microphone. And then we have a caller. Dwayne, do we know who the caller is at the 216 number?
No, if the 216-394-6168 could unmute yourself and identify yourself, please. I believe that might be Mr. Stowers.
Mr. Stowers, can you hear us? Mr. Freeland, you need to unmute your microphone, please. Sorry, folks, you could probably put your hands down. This might take a second. Mr. Freeland, can you hear us now?
I can hear you.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep, you're good. We're just waiting to get one more microphone unmuted. All right. Mr. Chair, I think.
Yeah.
What I'd recommend, Mr. Chair, is that we swear in all the witnesses. We can get the meeting rolling, and then before this 216 number is able to testify, we're going to have to figure out who that is, and I'll swear that person in at a later
Very good.
time.
Yeah,
All right.
so move forward. Let's do that.
Everyone who intends to testify, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
I do.
I do.
I do.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you,
And I-
everyone.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
give me a minute. That phone number that you are looking for, at 216, that is Mr. Stout.
okay, thank you. Well, let me just quickly finish up here. Our order of presentation will be as follows. First, the city will present a summary of the history of the property. Second, those speaking in favor of the appeal will be heard. Third, those speaking against will be heard. And finally, those in favor will have an opportunity to respond. With that, I'd like to go ahead and move into the review case hearings. The first one is 13-20, 1015 East Talmadge Avenue, owner Ali Lofty Bard. So I guess we can put everybody else temporarily in the waiting room, and we'll get back to you shortly.
Okay, Mr. Chair, we can take that first if you like. I thought we were going to take it in the order the people arrived, but that's okay.
Oh, nobody told me. What is that order then?
I apologize. I was going to put everyone back in the waiting room. The order would be 734 Canton Road first, then East Talmadge second, Arlington third, East Market Street fourth, and then finally the Store Avenue property. So I'm going to put everyone back into the waiting room except for the two gentlemen who were here for Canton Road.
Yeah.
So one moment.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
before you do that to me, I've given a note on the chat. This is Brian Williams for Mr. Giuseppe at 1079 South Arlington. I'm also in a hearing with Judge McCarty on another computer in Common Pleas Court. I'm literally walking between two computers. So if I'm hoping that I'll be back in time when our case comes up. I just wanted that to be noted, that I'm not ignoring the hearing if you don't see my face.
Mr. Williams,
If we get to you and you're not ready, we will go to the next one and then come back.
That's
to
fine, just so I don't get skipped over. Thank you for your consideration.
All right. All right. Well, with that, then, our first item will be case number 1-21. This is 734 Canton Road. Mr. Johnson, do we have an update here?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, case number 001-21, address of 734 Canton Road, last reviewed April 14th, 2021. At that time, the board ordered that the owner clean out the building, allow the City of Akron's Fire Department to do an inspection. I can report that the majority of the fire load that was concerning the fire department was taken out. The fire department did do an inspection with myself. There's still some more things that need to be removed from that property, but the owner has started the process. There's some facade issues that you'll see in the picture that are being shown right now that needs to be taken care of. And also the City of Akron would like to see the owner address the frontage of that building and clean it up, paint it, or whatever needs to be done to deal with that.
All right. I have a little bit of a problem here. My screen just went small and I can barely hear. I don't know what happened. I apologize here.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, we're having no trouble hearing you and seeing you.
I don't know what it is.
Can you hear us?
Barely. I apologize, but I'm wondering if I should exit and try to get back in.
can we maybe, before you try that, can we maybe try taking it off screen sharing? Just to see if his screen will get better and he might be able to hear better. Did anything get better there, Mr. Rowland?
Okay, the screen came back. Let me see if I can do something with the sound. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, that's much better. I don't know what happened. I apologize. Okay. Um, Again, I did not hear all the last of that, so
I can repeat. It's
I'm
pretty
sorry.
short, and sweet. That's okay.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Case number 0001-21, address of 734 Canton Road, was last reviewed on April 14th, 2021. At that time, the board ordered that the owner clean out the building and allow the City of Akron's Fire Department to do an inspection. I can report that the building has been cleaned out, about 90% of it. There's still some more that the fire department feel needs to come out. They did do their inspection, submitted a report. There's some facade issues. I believe that's on the outside south side of the building. The owner's aware of it, said he was going to take care of that, and the city would also like to see him do something to deal with the frontage of that building, either paint it or remove that sign, or fix up the frontage of that somewhat. But other than that, he has been getting something done.
Okay. So as I recall, last month, there was some, I guess, trepidation on some of the members' parts about what was going on here. Is the city satisfied that enough is going on to allow him to keep moving forward?
Yes, the city of Akron is willing to recommend at this point that the board give him at least a 60-day review and allow him to continue to do some of the work that he outlined. And I think he has a plan to open the building up and start doing some business up out of there. And he can testify to what that time period should be.
Okay. Mr. Dixon, anybody from the fire department care to weigh in on your end?
Like George said, he has cleared out quite a bit out of the building, but there's still more that needs to be removed. I mean, you get from the front door to the back door without no problem. So if he just gets rid of a few more things, make it safe for the firemen to come in there if there was an incident, that'd be better. But he's got a lot out of there.
Okay. All right, very good. Okay. Members have any questions? None?
None.
All right, well, I guess entertain a motion then. Is anyone here to
Mr.
speak
Chair?
yet? Let me just establish if anyone else is here to speak, either for or against. Hearing none. Mr. York?
Well, I was just going to point out that I think Mr. Freeland is here, and I see that the councilman, Mr. McKittrick, is also here.
Okay, Mr. Freeland,
Yes.
anything you care to add to what we've heard so far?
We're just continuing the work. We had contracted to have the fascia replaced with the wood replaced with aluminum and the gutter put up at the same time. That's the one picture. They asked me if it had trusses or raptors in it, so I had to pull down one piece of the soffit to see if it did have trusses or raptors in it. So they knew what was going to happen when they came to fix it. We're waiting for that. The mowing is, since we had so much rain, I'm a little behind on the mowing, but it'll be taken care of this weekend. The weather's supposed to be nice. The front this is the first time I heard they wanted the sign in the front painted, so I'll take care of that and paint the sign. The aisleways have been cleared out, so the fire department can move freely through the aisleways. The fire extinguishers, I didn't know where to hang them, or I didn't know they had to be 5 feet off the ground. So they'll be taken care of also. We have purchased all three of them, and we had a fourth one that was already there that will have to get recharged or whatever they do. And there is a little more stuff. We have to make IOAs between the things that we're selling. We're setting it up right now to have some online auctions, and if I get disconnected, this phone is going to take an incoming call maybe, so bear with me, please. But the auctions will come up. Shelley's taking care of the auction. She's going to list the things on Facebook Marketplace. And once a month, we'll have an auction through the Equipment Connection on Manchester Road. The painting and the roofing will continue. I'm going to reshingle the roof and things like that. So that's the things coming up. It's just going to take a little time. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Councilman McKittrick, would you like to speak?
Yes, thank you very much. I'm curious as for Mr. Freeland, what the expected timeline is that he'll actually be open for business. This building's been like this for a considerable amount of time, and I just wondering if it's going to be a reasonable amount of time, or if we're looking for a year, 2 years opening, or what we're expecting here. Thank you.
Actually, we're going to start selling the equipment as soon as we take care of the fire department things. Once we have that taken care of, then the equipment sales will start. And then probably about a year from now, the actual meat market will open back up.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Anyone else to speak for? Anyone else to speak against? Hearing none. Members, I would ask for a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I got a question for Mr. Freeland.
Sure.
Mr. Freeland, will you, within the 60 days, will you have all the issues taken care of that Mr. Johnson spoke about, the south side of the building and the frontage sign, and as well as you spoke of the roof?
Yes, I believe so. In 60 days, everything, the painting, the sign in the front, I got to put another coat of white paint on the building that I already painted. Replacing the fascia and soffit, we're waiting for the contractor, and if not, I can do that myself. And the roof didn't need shingled, but I'm going to re-shingle it anyway, so when we do open up, it's not in the way of people coming in and out.
Okay, thank you.
One else.
Okay, with that, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to give an extension of 60 days to review case number 001-21-734 Canton Road.
Just for clarification, that would be the July 14th meeting.
Okay, July 14th.
And Ms. Nayad, you came in late during this proceeding, so I would recommend you abstain from voting on this one.
Yes,
And
I
then we
plan
can-
to.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Sure.
Okay, is there a second of the motion?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Abstain.
And I also abstain. All right, so 2 aye votes, that gives him enough for the 60 days. Is that correct, Mr. York?
Yes, because there were actually 3 members present when this started, so he got 2 out of 3. So he'll get his extension until July 14th.
Very good. Okay, Mr. Freeland, we will see you, I guess, then on July 14th.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Okay, I believe number 2 then is 13-20. Do I have that correct? 1015 East Talmadge Avenue.
That's correct, Mr. Chair. There are 2 here to speak on that, including Mr. Ram, who was not sworn in. So I'll bring them both in now.
Okay. Okay, is Brandon's iPhone I see, is that who you were speaking of?
Brandon, are you Mr. Ram?
Yes.
Okay. Would you like me to swear him in?
Yes, you need to swear you in for your testimony.
Okay.
We're getting some feedback. Do you have two iPhones or anything activated now? Because everything is echoing at our end. That seems to be better. Okay, Mr. Ram, if you could raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth and nothing but the truth? Mr. Ram, do you swear to tell the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Okay. For the record then, this is case 13-20, 1015 East Talmadge Avenue. Mr. Johnson.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, case number 0013-20, address of 1015 East Talmadge Avenue. This case was last reviewed on April 14th, 2021. At that time, the board had ordered that the owner register the property and continue to progress on the building's renovations. I can report that the building was registered. I received a check here in the office on the 10th of May, just this last Monday. There's been some activity there. If you can see in the pictures, they've started to paint the front more pleasing white color. There was some roof work going on yesterday. You can see in the window that there's been some work going on the inside, but the owner has not contacted us to do an inspection on the inside of the building to see what all has been done. And the city is not real happy about that. We need to see what progress has gone on inside. And at this point, we haven't been able to do so.
Have they shared any permits?
No, I don't have any permits. I checked with the office manager this morning to see if anything came in, and she said she didn't see anything either.
Okay. All right. Okay. Who do we have to speak in favor of this?
Mark Chair, I'm here. I'm counsel for Mr. Lafifard.
Okay. Go ahead, Mr. Schiff.
Mr. Lafifard informed me yesterday that he was having a medical procedure today. It's actually occurring right now at the Cleveland Clinic. So I sent you the documentation this morning that he sent to me last night, showing his medical procedure that was starting at 6 a.m. and is ongoing. So he apologizes that he can't be here, that he had to attend to that, obviously. So, I mean, as far as I know, everything that this gentleman, Mr. Johnson, just indicated is true. I don't know about the permits, but in terms of the progress, it's my understanding. And I see Mr. Rams here as well. I'm sure he has some connection to the property as being a tenant, so I'm sure he'll fill you in on some things as well.
Okay.
Yeah. We will file the permits today for the work being performed on the interior. Just as I mentioned in the last meeting, I just had to get some things under wraps with Mr. Lofty, and we've done so or began to. So I feel comfortable doing that I also have to register another building, which Mr. Johnson informed me how to do so, and I'm in the process of doing both. I just received the bond yesterday in the mail, so today I'll put that all on file.
Okay. What about scheduling time for the city to come in? And
Yeah, that's fine. Whenever you guys would like to drop in, just let me know.
I think the burden's more on either you or Mr. Lafifard to initiate that, and it's not on the city to schedule it.
Okay.
You guys have to take the initiative there.
Yeah, that's not a problem.
Okay. Well, you guys have anything else to add?
Addressing me and Mr. Ram,
Yeah.
I do not, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Members of the board, I would turn over to you if you have questions or comments.
Mr. Chairman, could I ask a question? This is John York.
Sure, go ahead, Mr. York.
Thank you. Mr. Johnson, I apologize if you addressed this in your summary.
Okay.
What was the registration addressed in the interim from the last meeting?
Yeah, it was registered. Mr. Lafifard contacted me in last week, and I emailed him a form. He mailed a check, and I received it here in the office on Monday, May 10th.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Well, members of the board. Okay. Anyone here to speak against? Anyone else have anything at all to add? Okay. Members of the board, I would ask for a motion.
I'll make a motion for case number 0013-20, 1015 East Talmadge Avenue. I'd like to make a motion to grant a 30-day extension to the June 9th board meeting with requirements that an inspection must be scheduled with the city and that proof of the permit process beginning is completed by the time of the June 9th meeting.
Very good. Do you have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed? None opposed. Okay. So the June meeting is scheduled for what day? Do we have that?
9th.
The 9th. Okay. So we will see you guys back here on June 9th.
Great. We'll keep it going forward. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ram.
Yep. Thanks, Mark. Later. Take care, everyone.
Okay, Mr. Chair, I'm going to bring Attorney Williams back and see if he's available
Okay.
for the 1079 South Arlington case.
Very good. Mr. Williams must be on his other case.
He does not appear to be at his desk. Would you like me to move on?
Yeah, let's move to number 4, and we'll come back to them.
I'm bringing in Mr. Nguyen for 402 East Market Street.
Okay, for the record, this is case number 3-21, 402 East Market Street. Mr. Johnson.
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, members of the board, case number 0003-21, address of 402 East Market Street. This case was last reviewed on February 10th, 2021. The board at that time granted an extension to today, and the owner was to begin improvements and present a plan to show progress. I can report that he has done extensive work in there, needs a lot more. I believe he has a plan, which I'll allow him to, if you're okay with him explaining that himself. But there has been some movement here that the city is satisfied with at this point, and we do have a recommendation.
Very good. Okay. So who do we have here to speak then for this? To win?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, yes.
You hearing us okay?
Yeah. Perfect.
Okay. You wanna go ahead then and tell us about progress and.
Yeah, sure. So my contractor is in the process of getting the top level finish out as an apartment complex there. And so it's been quite a bit of work in terms of gutting that place out and preparing for that step. The electricity on the top unit has been redone and will be turned on. In terms of the storefront, I have been in the process of having shutters installed. However, it's been rather difficult over the past few months to get things going. I am really not sure why there's such a significant backlog of people coming out. It's been about a month and a half since that I've been trying to have these shutters installed for the windows on the front that you see, and also on the back. Probably he gave me a timeline of a couple of weeks until we can get to it. Yeah.
Okay. What else do you need to do with the storefront and whatnot?
So I think my plan right now is we'll be finishing the top level pretty quickly here, probably within the next couple of months. So the goal would be to kind of get it ready before the fall semester starts, and then to put up the shutters. All the boards that you see on the front, that will be they'll be shuttered or blocked off by that. And so I really need to do this in probably a couple phases. So the first one will be to take care of the top level as an apartment complex there, and then moving on to the first floor, and then the bottom.
Okay. Do you plan to rent to students? Is that?
I'm sorry?
You plan to rent to students?
Yeah. We're hoping to have students or grad students.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else to add, or I ask for others to comment? When? Anything else to add before we move on to others?
Yeah, I don't.
Okay. All right. Members of the board, I will ask for your comments and or questions.
Yes, Mr. Nguyen.
Yes.
When do you feel that the building itself will be completed, top to bottom?
My plan for it will be probably this time next year or summer of next year.
Okay. First floor, what are you planning on putting in the first floor?
Well, the original plan was that place would be a coffee shop. Okay. And so so the first floor and the basement will be a coffee shop. So that's what's going to be.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just wondering, why would the first floor take another year from now?
One is, I don't really want to go into major debt of getting to do everything at once. And so I want to phase it out into phases because I'm really cash flowing this myself, trying to not get a loan as much as possible. I have a coffee shop already right now that's in downtown Akron. And so, this project on 402 East Market is really my joy, and I don't want to rush into it, and just kind of picking out what I want the coffee shop to be, and it's kind of unfortunate that I had to deal. I mean, it was unexpected what has happened over the winter, and it's constantly a lot of stress as well. But I do want to kind of get that to where I want the coffee shop, or envision a coffee shop, how it's going to be on campus. I mean, that building, to have it all done. I mean, you look at it, all new electrical, all new plumbing. I mean, this is a lot of work. Even to get the top part for people to come and do it, for some reason it's not as fast as I would hope for.
Okay. All right, thank you. Mr. Johnson, I have a question for you. Are you okay with this being completed a year from now?
Well, at this point, Mr. Van has talked about the upstairs being ready here shortly by the fall for students to be able to rent. And if he's going to have that upstairs finished and completed and occupied, I don't see, that's a problem, as long as he keeps the building secure, clean, and if it stays vacant, he pays the registration fee, which he has always done. The city would like to see at this point that he produced the permits for work that has been done, and any permits for any work that's done in the future. And we would be okay with recommending a 60-day review and see how far along the apartment part of the building comes in that part of time, and then make a decision from there.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Anyone else?
Mr. Chair, this is John York.
York.
Can I make a comment or possibly ask the fire department a question?
Sure.
My concern is Mr. Nguyen's plan seems to be that he's going to finish the second floor and then try and occupy the second floor without having the first floor renovated or occupied. I'm not sure that he can get a certificate of occupancy for the second floor if the first floor doesn't comply. I wondered if the fire department might know the answer to that.
Jamie and I were just discussing that because we were curious, because the first floor missing a lot of the drywall, so we don't know how that would. You'd have to at least have it framed in and drywalled up.
Yeah, you'd have to have it at least fully drywalled to protect the second floor from the first floor if there was a fire.
Yeah, the concern is to have people living on the second floor with the first floor that doesn't comply. So Mr. Nguyen, I guess my caution would be you really need to probably get in touch with the county building department and really evaluate, can you finish this? Because what we'd hate to see is you go down this road and basically run out of money because you can't finish, and you might have the second floor done, but you might not be able to occupy it because the county won't allow it because you don't have the proper certificate. So before you really start pouring money in, you might want to make sure you can pull this off. Okay, so I don't know what the board's going to decide, but that's just a comment. You know, get in touch with the county, talk this through, and make sure that you can pull it off. All right.
Yeah, I think that's great advice. Yeah, I really I really don't want to be. I'm already spending a lot of money, and obviously don't want to do things that are. Yeah.
Right.
Agree.
Okay. Anyone else want to add anything for or against? Comes to the board. Any other questions? If none, anyone care to make a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that case number 0003-21-402 East Market Street, that Mr. Nguyen contact the county and see if he will be able to get this building occupied, second floor occupied without the first floor being finished. And that way he won't stick a lot of money into it and he end up voting against this building. And I would just like to make a 30-day extension so he can reach out to the county to get that. And then he come back before us and then we can decide on giving him more time to get it completed so he can continue on with this building.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor of the motion? Aye.
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 Opposed? None opposed. Okay, Mr. Nguyen, we'll see you on June 9th at our next meeting. And hopefully you can have some answers from the county and have more of a plan then going forward.
Sure.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay. Do we want to check back in on, I guess it's Mr. Williams?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I'll bring Attorney Williams back in and see, and I see we have him.
Oh, very good. Okay.
Mr. Come on over here. Mr. Yusefi is here as well.
Very good. Was he sworn in earlier?
He wasn't here earlier.
Okay, that's what I thought. Mr. York, can we swear Mr. Yusefi in?
Yes, sir. Mr. Yusefi, do you
sir.
swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so this is case number 18-20. The address is 1079 South Arlington. Mr. Johnson.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, case number 0018-20, address of 1079 South Arlington Street. Last reviewed April 14th, 2021. At that time, the board ordered that the owner register the property, replace the electrical panel, replace the window, and show documents of permits. I could say that last week, the owner did register the property. We have not had an opportunity to inspect the inside to see if the electrical panel has been taken care of, although we did receive correspondence from the owner saying that it hadn't been completed. And he was asking for a continuance at first for this hearing, but I could see he was able to make it. But nevertheless, the window was replaced. Well, at least it has a screen over it and it looks secure now. We haven't seen any documents. The other day, we stopped by there to take some photos of the outside of the property for the purpose of this hearing. And we noticed that Mr. Yusefi is allowing a food trailer to operate out of the back of the building and in the parking lot. And the city of Akron would like to hear his explanation for this.
I'm assuming that requires some sort of permits.
Yes, it does.
Okay.
They were just testing it.
They were just testing, they've been anxious to be able to use the kitchen and test their trailer. And I was not aware of they doing anything. Yesterday they called me and I went and told them that they knew they are not allowed to go inside, except if there is any equipment that is not, they don't need it. I told them to pull it out. And if you have any new equipment, put it in. But other than that, they are not doing anything unless we're gonna get a certificate of occupancy.
So who was tenant?
Yeah, yes, sir. They have been looking for a place to survive. They cannot get any check from the government. And they are anxious to see if everything is going to be in line by the time it's past the exams and they get the occupancy. Some of the equipments, they don't need it, and some new, probably something they have. I told them, whatever you don't need, put outside, they did. And I didn't have a chance to go and see if they brought anything. And yes, they did bring one or two kitchen equipment inside.
Okay, well, can you update us on progress on all the things that have been talked about?
Okay, everything is done. The window, the inside, everything is done except the electrician. I live in Cleveland, sir, and he calls me in Cleveland this last weekend that, hey, the door does not open. I said, anyway, sir, I come yesterday and I see there is a piece of brick underneath the door that doesn't go outside. But anyway, he told me that he will get it done within a week. I don't know, he was using an excuse to say the door was not, could not get the door open. Otherwise, it would have been done by now. And I just wanted to be cautious. And I informed my lawyer that he's doing it this weekend, he says, but I'm not sure that he will complete it or not. So they don't see that much pressure as we see, and I in particular. And in fact, I'm almost in the verge of kissing his feet, that what else can I do for you? And I'm only at his mercy, but 1 or 2 weeks, the whole thing will be complete. Those joints, the switch cap and those are all taken care of inside. The only thing is outside, even inside the electrical part was done. Then the building department added something else from outside, that he took a lot of those wiring outside and bring it and get up to date.
Yeah, for the record, we had, Mr. Yousefi had been contacted by his electrician about 2 weeks ago. And he said because of his workload that he didn't know that he could get it done in time for this meeting. So I did docket, if that's the right word, it's not a court, but I did submit a request to continue the hearing, and Mr. York informed me that there's no way to deal with the continuous except on the record today. But we did indicate to them that that was the only reason we were asking for a continuance, because once the electrician work is done, we believe we can get the other things done, including the certificate of occupancy, and close this case out. So.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Dwayne Greger, Housing Administrator, just for point of clarification, reviewing these pictures. So what we're being led to believe is that the potential tenants for this building were advised not to occupy, yet somehow yesterday when Mr. Johnson was there to take photographs, the door was open, an extension cord was led into the property to be used for a food truck. There was food cooking on a stove, and we see shelves with food and spices and dishes in the sink on a property that's obviously being used for a commercial purpose. We're to believe that all of this is being done without the owner's knowledge.
Do we know how long, or was it just discovered yesterday?
Yeah, I haven't
Well,
seen
Mr.
it
Johnson-
other than yesterday. Sorry.
First time I noticed it, Mr. Chairman, was yesterday.
Okay. Wow.
It's just, Mr. Chair, Dwayne Greger again, it's just very disconcerting and concerning to us when we have a building that does not have a certificate of occupancy, a property that's under review by this board, and then we show up for an inspection that I don't believe an inspection was scheduled that we had requested, but we show up for an inspection. We find the building occupied and obviously set up for food service. You know, you can see a bag of onions or potatoes on the one shelf. You can see cartons of spices. It's obvious that there's commercial activity occurring at a property without a certificate of occupancy. It's very concerning.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. York.
thank you. Just to follow up Mr. Greger's point, the fact that there's an electrical extension cord extending from inside the building to the parking lot is also a concern. We know that work has been done on the electrical system. Mr. Yusefi's testified to that previously. We don't have any permit approval from the county, so we have no reason to believe that's a safe system, but to take it and put it out into the parking lot, that's just not acceptable. Likewise, with the building being occupied without a certificate of occupancy, this is troubling, and it needs to stop. And we need some assurances from Mr. Yusefi that this is
It
not
will
gonna-
never happen again. I went, he called me at the moment the inspector appeared there. I said, I'll be on my way to come there. What's going on? And I went and confronted them. They said, we have only one electrical wire here. That's it. We have been.
Yeah, one is too many. And the fact that they're cooking in your kitchen is totally unacceptable.
Definitely. I don't think if they have touched anything in the kitchen. Sir, I haven't gone inside, but I went there. I tested the door that electrician was saying that was not gonna be open. I tested that thing. I didn't go inside. I wish I did, but I don't think if they are using it, because I have gone there a week ago or 10 days ago. There was nothing in the kitchen to indicate somebody is using it.
When was the last time you were inside?
Maybe a week ago or 10 days ago. I always go there. In fact, I wanted to come last weekend there, and the electrician called me. And when I said, hey, you can finish that job now, he said, it's raining. I'm not going to work on the rain outside. I didn't come. Otherwise, I would have been there last weekend. But he said, it's raining. I cannot work. And yesterday, because I had problem with my car, I didn't go there myself, and 2 tires were blown up. But I did have another backup car to go and see the door, and didn't have enough time to go inside. But when I leave here, I will go inside and make sure that nobody is going to use it till this job is done.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question for Mr. Giuseppe.
Go ahead, Mr. Pope.
Mr. Giuseppe, do the food truck owner have your permission to be inside?
Yes, he has a key for the inside. The reason is that they've been there for more than 6 months or 7 months asking. And I said, it's not done, it's not ready, it's not ready. And finally, I was hoping a couple of weeks ago to say, we are almost done and you're gonna be able to go get your certificate of occupancy. And also they are very good Mexican people to take care of a little bit outside, a little bit clean up inside, and they assurance that they will have that access to, be able to get that before anybody else grab it. And yes, they did have a key, and they did have, they know they are not going to be able to use it till it is passing the inspection.
Okay, and also you said your electrician, he wasn't able to enter. Did he have a key?
He had a key. I don't know, sir, that he was using an excuse or what. Here is what he says. One time he missed that thing. There are two lock on that door on the side. And I gave him one key and I said, the other lock is not going to be locked. 1 week, the reason we get behind, he called and said, the other door is locked. I said, wait, I should have, I don't know how it got locked. He said, I'm not going to wait. And that we got behind and he said, I'm leaving. Okay. That yesterday or this weekend, he used that. He said, the door cannot be open. And when this guy called me, I went and said, oh, let me see this door, what he's saying. I found out a piece of brick or rock underneath the door and that jammed it. Yeah, anybody with a little bit common sense would realize what's holding it. But he used that as excuse and he didn't want to work. I think it was raining too, and he didn't want to work. So another week or two, that will be completely done. And nobody is gonna touch it unless it's gonna pass the occupancy test or certificate.
Thank you.
I'm by myself. I need a little bit help here and there. And I clean up that area. The next day, somebody come either broke something or threw something. And that's why I needed the help of these guys. And they gave them the key that the area must be cleaned. Those are the little things that they can help me. Grass. And
okay. All right, thank you. Mr. Johnson, when did this building first come across our attention?
Oh, it's been a while, Mr. Polk. Let me see here. Looks like September 2020.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Johnson, when was the last time you were able to get inside and inspect?
We were able to get inside and inspect before the April 14th meeting, myself and the fire department.
Okay. If I'm understanding what is being said here today, it's being presented that the only thing left to do prior to getting an occupancy permit is the electric. Would you agree with that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mr. York, the power of this board is pretty much strictly, we can extend time or we can order the building raised. I mean, that's pretty much it, right?
Right. And if you extend time, you can put conditions on the extension of what you expect to happen during that period.
Yeah. Okay. Any other members of the board have any comments, questions? Anyone here to speak against? Okay.
Mr. Rowland,
Yes.
Mr. Chair, could I just, I think, there's three items that I think need to occur if the board is going to grant an extension. I believe the certificate of occupancy should be obtained in the interim. We've heard from Mr. Williams that Mr. Yusefi can do that. We'd also recommend that an inspection be required by the city personnel. And I guess the third condition I'd recommend is that there be no use or occupancy in any way until this building has a certificate of occupancy.
I wholeheartedly agree with all of those recommendations. Mr. Williams, is there anything else you or your client would like to add?
No, it's, Mr. Polk asked a question of how long it's been pending before the board, and it's September. Mr. Yusefi has made a lot of progress. It's unfortunate that the electricity couldn't be completed. Otherwise, we wouldn't have been having the problem of that we had to discuss today. I think he's explained it. He apologizes if it looked like he was jumping the gun. I have told him strictly that he cannot enter into a commercial lease relationship with any tenant until and unless we get all the necessary permits and approvals from the city and county. In this case, it's released from the board.
Well, I appreciate that. For my part, I can understand the electrical hold up a bit. What I don't understand is the evidence of the occupancy that was uncovered yesterday. So, with that, I'll ask for a final call for any other comments, questions. If none, I'd ask for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. With respect to case 0018-201079 South Arlington Street. Prior to or by the next meeting, which is June 9th, the occupancy, the certificate of occupancy must be obtained. Thorough inspection by the city must be done, and no use or occupancy of the building by any outside individuals or organizations can take place. And that fulfills the motion.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No.
Aye.
We have a tie 2-2. Where does that leave us, Mr. York?
2-2, the motion does not have a majority, so it will not carry.
Okay. Do I ask for another motion?
Yes, you can certainly do that.
What would the other option be?
Well, the other option is if no motion carries, then the matter would remain on the agenda just as a matter of course, because there wouldn't be any motion that carried. So if there's no motion that carries, this will end up on the next month's agenda, but there won't be any conditions attached to it. It would just appear on next month's agenda. So I think there's either going to be a motion for an extension that ultimately carries with conditions, or there's going to be a different motion that may carry. So I would recommend asking for another motion.
Okay,
Or it could be that some member may decide to change their vote. And if they do, you may want to reopen the previous motion. I just don't know how the members feel on that.
well, speaking for myself, I don't think I want this to carry over without conditions. For that reason, I would consider changing my vote.
Sir, can I bring something to your attention?
No, you may not.
Let it go.
Okay, sorry,
Let it go, Mr. Giuseppe. Let it go.
sorry.
With that said, I would ask that the motion be reopened. What's the procedure for that, Mr. York? This is kind of unprecedented here. I'm not sure which way to
Yeah, I
go.
think a motion, first of all, take a motion to reopen the voting on that motion. And then if that motion carries, then you can revote.
All right. I guess I'll go ahead and move to reopen the vote. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor of reopening the motion, the original motion? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Oh,
Good boy. Now we're tied again.
Does everybody understand what's going on here? Mr. Polk and Mr. Burke? Mr.
Yes.
Rowland has just asked, he has asked for the opportunity to re-vote on the motion to extend the matter until next month. And the reason the chair would like to re-vote is to make sure that this matter has conditions on it prior to next month's meeting.
correct. And
All right. I will go ahead and change my vote then.
So it sounds like we have a vote of 3-1 in favor of reopening.
Okay. So now that the motion is reopened, do I need to have it read again and seconded, or can we vote? Go ahead and vote.
Well, I believe it's been such a short time that the members would know what the motion is. So unless some member is confused, I think you can just ask for the vote on the motion to continue the matter until June 9th with conditions.
Okay. With that, then I will ask all in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Thank you, members. So, Mr. Williams, you can tell your client that this 30 days has been granted, but as you can see, it was not unanimous. So with those conditions attached, strongly encourage you to come back next month and have this thing completed.
Yes, we're certainly going to make our best efforts. We apologize for the circumstance today.
Thank you. All right. I believe that leaves us one remaining hearing.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I'm going to bring in Mr. Stowers for the 415 Store Avenue, and I do not believe he was sworn in.
Okay, very good. Mr. Stowers, can you hear us? Would you like to unmute, please? Thank you. Can you hear us okay?
Yes.
Okay, we need to swear you in for your testimony.
Okay.
You're going to do that for us?
Yes, Mr. Stowers, do you have video capability?
No, my camera is messed up.
Okay. What I need you to do is raise your right hand.
Okay.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Johnson, this is case number 26-2415 Store Avenue. Care to update us?
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, case number 0026-20, address of 415 Store Avenue. was last reviewed on February 10th, 2021. At that time, the board ordered that the owner keep the structure secure and obtain a certificate of occupancy and stay in contact with the city of Akron. I can say that he has kept the property secure. He also has been in touch with us, and my conversation with him on yesterday at the inspections myself and the fire department did, he was starting the process of getting the certificate of occupancy. He also did submit a plan to what he wants to do with the building. And we're satisfied with his progress at this point. We did notice a leak in the roof, if you see one of the pictures. And Mr. Stowers and I did briefly discuss it. He indicated he will take care of that.
So the city's satisfied basically at this point?
Yes, we are.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Stowers, would you like to update us on your end?
I have one question about the certificate of occupancy. I have the application. Now, do I need to file it for the existing structure or my plans for moving forward?
Mr. Chairman, could I speak to that?
Sure, Mr. York, please do.
Mr. Stowers?
Yes.
The certificate of occupancy is actually issued by the county building department.
Yes.
So the city staff can't really advise you on that. What you need to do is contact the county, which is where you're going to be seeking the permit, and explain to them your situation, and they should be able to advise you on how to get the certificate of occupancy. That's your ultimate goal here, is to get the certificate so that you can use it for what you intend to use it for.
Gotcha.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
You're welcome. Thank you for clearing that up. Go ahead, Mr. Stowers, please continue.
So that's basically where I'm at. I just finished cleaning out the building. I have some investors sit down in a couple weeks to see how far we want to go with that plan. You know, with Corona it's been kind of rough with the Corona situation, but I'm still moving forward with the plans of what I want to do with the building.
Okay. With the leaking portion of the roof, you're going to be able to get that fixed?
Yes.
All right. Anything else to add?
No, that's it.
All right. I would ask my fellow members of the board if they have questions for Mr. Stowers. Okay. If none, anyone else here to speak for? Anyone to speak against? Okay. Anyone else have anything to add? If not, members, anyone care to make a motion here? You know what? Before that, I have one question. We didn't hear a recommendation on timing here. Mr. Johnson, does the city have a preference?
At this point, the city feels that Mr. Stower is moving along pretty well, and whatever the board would entertain would be okay with the city of Akron.
Very good. Okay, members, you care to make a motion here?
0026-20 415 Store Avenue. I move that we come back the next meeting, June 9th, and that roof leak should be addressed, and And if that's the case, I think we can move forward.
Very good. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unopposed. Okay, Mr. Towers, see you back here on June 9th.
Okay,
You can let us know about progress then.
okay.
All right. Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Any more business before this board this morning? I see none. Mr. Johnson, I'm assuming you'll be out as usual for signatures.
Yes, I will, sir.
I'll be here.
Okay.
All right. Well, with nothing else then, declare this meeting adjourned. Thanks, everyone.
Have a good day.
Thank you.